My name is Lori. Standing in the eerie silence of my emptied townhouse in Lincoln Park, I stared at the handwritten note on the kitchen island. You can always make more money. We need it more than you. The words, scrawled in my sister Nina's handwriting, felt like a punch to the gut. I remembered the day I returned from a 3-day marketing conference in New York. Dragging my suitcase up the front steps, all I wanted was a hot shower and takeout. But instead, I was greeted by this emptiness and betrayal. It all started years ago. I grew up in a small town in Iowa. My parents were hard-working farmers, kind-hearted, but always struggling to make ends meet. Dad was a stoic man who believed in the value of hard work, while Mom was gentle and nurturing, always trying to make our home a warm place despite the financial hardships. When I was 20, a terrible drought hit our farm, and we lost everything. My parents were devastated. They couldn't afford to send me to college, and I was on the verge of giving up my dreams. That's when my older sister Nina, who was 25 at the time and had moved to Chicago for a job, stepped in. She took me in, found me a part-time job at a local diner, and helped me apply for scholarships. With her support, I managed to get into a good business school in Chicago. I worked day and night, studying hard and working at the diner to pay for my living expenses. Nina and her husband Ben were always there for me. They helped me with rent when I was short on money and bought me textbooks when I couldn't afford them. After graduation, I landed a job at a small advertising agency. I was determined to pay Nina and Ben back for all they had done for me. I started giving them money every month, helping them with their mortgage payments and other bills. When I got promoted and started earning more, I even bought them a new car. As my career took off, I was able to afford a nice townhouse in Lincoln Park. I was over the moon and excited to share this new chapter of my life with Nina and Ben. They came over often at first, and we had great times together. Sundays were filled with barbecues in the backyard, and we'd sit around, sharing stories and laughing. But then, the borrowing started. Nina asked if she could borrow my high-end blender for a party. A week later, she still hadn't returned it. I reminded her, and she casually said she'd bring it back, but she never did. Then Ben started borrowing my tools from the garage. The drill, the saw, they all disappeared. Whenever I asked about them, they'd make excuses or say I could afford to buy new ones. I didn't want to be ungrateful, so I let it slide. After all, they had helped me so much in the past. But as time went on, their demands became more and more frequent. They asked for larger sums of money, saying it was for unexpected medical bills or home repairs. One year, I got a huge bonus at work. I decided it was time to upgrade my home. I bought a 65-inch OLED TV, a leather sofa, and a new smart fridge. I called Nina and offered her my old furniture, but she coldly refused, saying they didn't want hand-me-downs. Not long after that, I was sent to New York for a 3-day conference. I made sure all my locks were secure, feeling excited about this new opportunity at work. During the trip, I sent Nina a selfie from the hotel bar, joking about finally making it in the business world. She replied with a thumbs-up emoji. When I returned home, I found my house ransacked. I opened my security app on my phone and watched in disbelief as the footage showed Nina and Ben backing a rented truck into my driveway, laughing as they carried out my belongings. Nina even walked up to the camera and tried to angle it away, but it was all captured. I immediately stopped all the automatic money transfers I had set up for them. Then I reached out to my college friend, Lily, who is now a lawyer. She looked at the evidence and told me it was a clear case of burglary. We drafted a demand letter giving Nina and Ben 24 hours to return everything and pay for the damages, or we'd file formal charges. The next day, they didn't respond. Instead, Nina texted me, saying I was being dramatic and that they'd pay me back when they could. Ben said I was bluffing about going to the cops. So, I took the evidence to the police station. Later that day, a neighbor sent me a photo of Nina and Ben being arrested in front of their house. A few hours after they were released, they came pounding on my door. Nina was sobbing, begging me to tell the police it was a misunderstanding. Ben was angry, saying I was ruining their lives. But I was done. I told them they had a chance to act like family, but they chose to act like thieves. They left, cursing me under their breath. A few weeks later, we went to court. The prosecutor played the security footage and showed the note. The defense tried to say it was a misunderstanding, but the judge saw through it and found them guilty of theft and criminal damage to property. They were put on probation for 2 years and ordered to pay fines and restitution. After the court verdict, I changed my will. Instead of leaving my assets to Nina by default, I set up a trust for young people who had lost their homes due to natural disasters. News of the will change spread in the family. Nina and Ben came to my door again, this time more desperate. They said they were going to lose their house and that I was their last hope. But I stood my ground. I told them I had tried to help them, but they had chosen to take advantage of me. In the end, I finally found peace. I had the locks changed and installed a better security system. My furniture was gradually returned, and I spent a day putting things back in place. I reclaimed not just my belongings, but also my life. I joined a book club, took up painting, and went on a solo vacation to the mountains. I no longer felt the constant pressure to help Nina and Ben at my own expense. I learned that family doesn't mean sacrificing my well-being, and setting boundaries is not a cruel act. It's a way to protect myself from those who would use me.